G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in the west of the map, it is Divine, who is going to be playing the blue color and he's going to be playing the French for us today. His opponent, who spawns across the ditch, because this is Boulder Bay, is playing in the red color and playing the Chinese, and it is, of course, the Viper. So another episode of Viper Watch coming out, and we are going to be taking a look at exactly how Viper is handling the Chinese. At the moment, you can see in the top right-hand corner, he is sitting at rank 9 on the ladder. He's been playing exclusively Chinese for at least the last couple days, and he's been holding his rank. He's been doing really well. So I'm curious to spot out exactly what kind of things he's doing, what sort of plays he's making. And a very interesting matchup today, especially considering the map. So anybody who knows about this map or knows about the situation at the moment on water will know that the French are incredibly strong. So much so that you don't really have an option when it comes to picking any other civilization on water maps. So I'm very curious to see what Viper's going to have up his sleeve. Now we can see that the French player, Divine, he's quite high ranked as well. So currently sitting at rank number 25. So pretty darn nice rank right there, Divine. Very, very nice. So going to be expanding up towards the north here. Already you can see he's got his fishing boats looking to head out to this deep sea fish. So he's spotted that one out as well. And he's got a very nice spawn here. He's quite safe. Definitely not going to be exposed to any sort of drops or anything down that way. Very easy to wall himself in with the double forest on the front. By the same token, he's got these 3 gold mines very close to his town center. So he's going to be a very happy camper. By the same token, his front is very nicely walled in as well. So realistically, this is almost like the dream spawn if you ever wanted to sort of turtle on this map. I think this is definitely the way to do it, because I'm pretty confident you could get away with just putting a single wall segment, like right there. That's like 20 wood, and you would be absolutely fine. So very, very nice spawn from him. But let's check in over on Viper. We'll see exactly what he is up to. So dropping down the dock as well. And one of the things to note, he's actually got double villages out here at the moment, and he's going to be gathering up food with that. So he's actually walked a second villager out here, and you might be wondering why that is. Why is that why has he done that? Well, there's a couple reasons why he's done that. First and foremost, shorefish, they gather faster than berries. They gather faster than sheep. They are the fastest gathering source of food other than deep sea fish or deep water fish in the game. So that's part of the reason why. And also because he's had to send a villager out here to build the dock. Now, you got to think about it like this, right? He sends out the villager to go build the dock. It walks all the way out. If he gets harassed by a scout, he is going to have to pull that villager back. But you know what he does with 2 villagers here? The scout comes in, it picks a fight with these 2 villagers, they turn around and they start right-clicking it. And then they are going to be fine. So basically, he has done the exact same thing. He's just invested these resources a little bit earlier, and he's going to be building that up as a response. So very, very nice move. Very smart from him. And you do see players begin to do this a fair bit more. In addition to that, if you're looking to drop out your landmark out here, obviously having 2 villages out there, it's going to get up slightly faster, because it's highly likely that he will be going up with the Barbican. We will need to pay attention and see exactly what he does. Now, we don't have any Imperial official coming out just yet, despite having 7 villagers on wood. He's got 4 here that are on food. He's still got a lot of fishing boats here out on the ocean, doing quite some gathering at the moment. 11 villagers on food, including fishing boats, and just 2 on gold at the moment. So he's a happy camper. Now going to be expanding out to stone. So perhaps this could be part of his thinking for this matchup. So just to explain a little bit about this matchup, what we can expect to see happen. So essentially this is the way it's going to work. You see France is going to make a hulk. Probably a second dock. You might get a second dock down here. Might add it up here. And then he will push in with 1 hulk. And then Viper will lose water. And that's essentially it. That is how it's going to go. There's going to be no 2 ways about it. Now, Viper might try and fight around a little bit. So you've got like the junk that you can get out and try and fight off. But ideally, it's best not to do that. Like maybe you could get a junk over here and start harassing your enemy fishing boats, cause a little bit of damage that way. But realistically, you're not going to be doing too much. We see the villagers garrisoning there inside that town center just to try and get a bit more damage onto that scout. But Viper does obviously pick it up. Now going to be harassing the villager of his enemy. We talked about this earlier as we see the scout from the enemy also coming around. So Divine going to have to retreat back all that way. Not going to be forced to have that idle time. We'll have to see if Divine does the same thing now for Viper's villagers, or whether Viper decides to turn it around. But I'm expecting if he spots that there's 2 villagers there, he won't bother, because he will potentially lose those sheep. It's something very cheeky to do if an enemy scout does run nearby. Now, Viper could be garrisoning right now and be getting extra arrows onto this scout. Probably not going to be able to take him out, but still. But yeah, one of the things you can do is if your enemy runs past you with sheep like this or starts harassing you, just go and kill those sheep. And that will they will quickly be like, wait, I need those sheep. Don't hurt me. So that is something that happens. Viper going to be going up with the Barbican, actually sending out a villager from the town to do it. And it looks like we've got our first Imperial official out, so I don't think we've got one before this. Looks like he's going to be heading back with all the intel that he's got. A little bit of a late age up incoming now, 520 for him. We'll take a look over at the base of Divine. So Divine going to be walling up. Now, he probably knows that he just needs to wall up this one spot, but I guess it's a little far away. He's also going up with the Chamber of Commerce, so pretty typical opening that we would expect to see. He's been very heavy on gold throughout this period, though. And typically you would expect not that heavy because you're going to be doing a whole bunch of selling as we do see the sell price there of food getting reduced down. So going to be buying up that Hulk now. It doesn't actually have enough for the first Hulk yet, so a little bit mismacroed, I would say. You can actually get it perfect so that you can get 2 Hulks out and get them in queue before 6 minutes. So a little bit of a delay for Divine only having 1 out at the moment, but you know what? It's probably his first game of the day. That's all right. So first one of the day, the first Hulk is going to be making its way across the map in about 30 seconds. We'll take a look over at Viper and what he's up to exactly. Viper going to be going for an early dynasty. This is curious. Viper going for the early Chinese dynasty. I've not seen this before from any player. So for anybody wondering what the heck is a dynasty, you build 2 landmarks from the same age, you enter into a dynasty. So he's in, I think it's the, I can't remember the name of the first dynasty, but he's about to enter into the Song dynasty. So this one's going to go up, and then when this one comes up behind it, he's going to enter a new dynasty. That's going to give him bonuses. So he's going to have a reduced villager build rate. And then in addition to going for that second dynasty, is also dropping a second town center. This is basically the equivalent. So the villagers train so fast, it is the equivalent of 2 town center boom. So you can now see the Song dynasty begins. That beautiful music playing in the background. So this is the equivalent of a 3 town center boom from the get-go. So basically the equivalent of a 3 town center boom from 7 minutes. And keep in mind, he's got all of this fishing economy that's going to be powering that up, which is kind of big. And now we can actually see the shadow of the Hulk coming in right now, which is just going to begin rampaging upon Viper's forces. He's actually stopped training fishing boats. So he just went with 6 fishing boats here. So normally you would see players even like move towards, say, 10 fishing boats. You can see up here, there's 7 fishing boats, so not a huge amount. But Viper actually just giving it up and just saying, you know what? I'm not even fussed. I'm just going to drop off my food. I'm not even going to get inside the dock. I'm just going to let you go. Now, there's a couple of things I normally love to do in response to this. So my advice in this situation, Viper actually luring a board down here to his town center. This is very, very smart from Viper. I do like this a lot. One of the things that you can do, and I think this seems to work very well in these matchups, is if you can make a transport ship as soon as you get up, or even before you get up, and you take 1 village down here with you, and you build a dock here, and you transition, you keep about 3 of your fishing boats on this deep water fish, okay, but then you take the rest of your fishing boats down and you'd come onto this fish here. And then you would train up maybe another 7 or 8 fishing boats down here. And then you would be utilizing these fish down here for the rest of the game. You could come out onto this one, out onto this one, because as the French player, keep in mind, they are going to go and check all the coastline, which we can see Divine doing right now, but they're not checking down here to the south. Now, it'd be hard for him to go and put a dock down here on his enemy side. I do like that strategy, but there's obviously just not enough space there. You can see Viper's side's got plenty of it, but yeah, unfortunately for him. So you can see Divine even coming down towards the south just to check and make sure there's no more docks down here. I tell you what, there might not be docks, but there's a bloody shitload of shorefish. Look at that, a shitload of shorefish indeed. But yeah, so he could have definitely snuck those down here, and then you just delete the transport ship because you don't want it getting found. If your enemy spots a transport ship, straight away they will know what is up, and then they'll begin checking. But that would have been a successful move, though. So the one thing to note, Viper, if you do watch this video back, maybe think about investing in a transport ship just to sneak away that dock. But let's talk a little bit more about what Viper's doing over on land. So we can see that he's actually preparing what looks like right now for a fast castle. So his macro is definitely lined up towards that fast castle, gathering a fair bit of gold here compared to his food. So probably looking at getting upgrades. He's got double wood upgrades at this stage, getting his specialized pick. What does he have here? He's got triple upgrades. Viper is literally booming out of control. This is one of the biggest booms I've ever seen anybody do, and he's utilized, like, it's so smart the way he plays it, okay? So he's utilized the early fishing economy and leverage that to give him enough food so that he is able to build villages. Then, using all the villages that are on land, he's grabbing all the resources so that he can head into that dynasty, you know, nice and easily for that. That was like a 6-minute dynasty or a 7-minute dynasty. And now he's going to be adding a 3rd town center behind this. So he was already sitting on the equivalent of 3 town centers, and now he goes up to 4.5 town centers. His villager count is going to go insane. At the moment, he's sitting on 52 villages. We'll take a look over at the opponent's base. He's sitting at 49, so very, very close. But keep in mind, he's only got 1 town center, and with 1 town center, you're obviously only going to be making 1 villager at a time. Doesn't really look like he's making that many fishing boats. He's actually making trade ships, though. This is big. Only 56 gold for this trade ship. Now, one thing to note is that trade ships are affected by the distance that they are trading. So what he needs to do, what Divine needs to do, is actually change the home market for these trade ships and set the home market to this dock right here. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to put them on a different route. They're going to be on this route instead, and they're going to be traveling back with a lot more. So you can see here, 56 gold. You wait and have a look how much trade is going to be coming through with this one. You can see it's traveling a different route. That's the close route. The far route, have a look at this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 134 gold. So the difference between the docks is barely a screen. You can see there's the first dock, there's the second dock. Okay, but the distance is significantly shorter than the return difference that you're getting. It is massive, and it's so important. And one of the reasons we actually see players on this map in particular, they will put a dock right up here towards the north of the map. If they've got control up here, you know, they'll drop a castle down here as well, as long as they've got control of the water over on their enemy side, and then they will begin trading along that length. And you can see numbers up to like 300 gold just for that trade route. And when you throw into account the fact that the Chamber of Commerce is buffing that up by 30%, you could be looking at almost 400 gold for a single ship. That's crazy. And keep in mind, it's 50% of that comes in wood as well. So they are doing 2 resources at once. You got the wood, you got the gold that comes in. So it would be 300, even potentially 400 gold and 200 wood. So absolutely huge. Now we've got that age 3 coming in for the Viper already. So Viper going to be going up with the astronomical clock tower. Pretty much the standard age up landmark for the Chinese when coming to the age 3 or the 3rd age. 76 villagers at the moment for Viper at 12 minutes. He is booming his heart out right now. And it's really impressive to see because he's done all the scouting that he needs. He knows that his opponent's got walls up at the moment. So look, there's probably not going to be any attack coming out anytime soon. Actually, that's a good question. I don't know whether he could have come across here. You know what? Maybe he probably could have come across here. So maybe a wall up here and a wall down here. You know what? If you can wall it, you can walk it. That's what they say. So, it makes sense to have this wall in here. But Viper definitely trying his best to scout out what his enemy's up to, but obviously not a lot of information being revealed to him. His enemy's got pretty decent control of the shoreline as well. We see towards Viper's base that he's doing a bit of scouting, but hasn't spotted out anything just yet. So now looking at Viper's base, he begins the transition over to farms, up to 86 villages at this point in time. Really not utilizing the Imperial Official as much as other players seem to. Got a market down in the back here. Going to begin some long distance trades. Look at this. This is going to be huge. How much gold do you reckon he's going to be getting from this neutral trading post? This trade post here, I reckon it's probably going to be netting him. That's probably one of the longest trading posts you can get in a 1v1 map. I'm going to go with 228 gold. That's what I'm going to... That's my suspicion. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? Vote in the chat right now. No, I'm just kidding. This is completely offline. We're not even doing this one on Twitch. You guys on YouTube, you guys are getting exclusive content right now. Even those Twitch guys aren't even getting access to this. But Viper now also going to be dropping down a monastery. I love this. Like, this is literally the greediest play I've ever seen coming out of Viper. It is ridiculous. Like 3 town centers, Song Dynasty, so the equivalent of 4.5 town centers, a market for traders. He's got the he's got the monastery out here, and it looks like he's even going fast Imperial. Oh, here we go. 173. Okay, so there you go. So basically the max distance that you can get on this, at least on this map, with this trading post is 173 gold. Now, I don't think that can actually be upgraded. I don't think there's any technologies or anything like that, but yeah, Viper definitely going to be pretty happy with himself. A nice steady income of gold there. But Viper really demonstrated, like, I guess, you know what, I'm going to compliment myself here. We've not had a lot of action in this game, but I'm really excited by this game. I'm still really, you know, I'm still pumped up because Viper's playing the Chinese. He's playing it on Boulder Bay, which is considered, you know, basically a 100% French map. If you watch any tournaments, people actually save, like Genesis, we saw people saving French for Boulder Bay because if it did come up, they needed the French there to counter their... excuse me, their opponent. And so, you know, it's just very, very curious that he would pick the Chinese here on this map against this civilization of all, you know, knowing that he's going to be going up against it. Now we see these thick walls coming in for Divine. He's definitely going to be feeling pretty good about himself with these walls coming in. How do these villagers get through, though? Are they able to get through here? I mean, did he transport the villagers up here? Is that what he did? Because he does have transport ships. Maybe he just transported them over, and now they're stuck in there forever. I mean, until they build a gate. But, I mean, there's more villages up here towards the north as well. But now it looks like we might have ourselves a little bit of a drop. I did see some ships. They are loaded up, so we've got 8 villagers, 2 royal knights, and 11 royal knights and 1 villager. You know, if it was me, I'd have OCD. I'd want all my knights in this one, all my villagers in that one. But, I mean, it's a bit dangerous if you do it that way. We now see a sacred site getting taken up towards the north. Keep in mind, this isn't the victory condition he's looking for, just looking to secure a little bit more resources here. This is going to give him a nice steady trickle of 100 gold a minute. So very nice. And now it looks like Viper is going to be getting dropped. So it looks like Viper's going to be doing a little less watching on this front. What does he actually have to defend himself right now? Okay, he's got a lot of barrackses, but it doesn't look like he's got a lot of units. I mean, he had those springalds that were set up. This is a weird spot to keep your springalds as well. I mean, I guess he knows about, like, he's got the villager out here. Wait, Viper walled him in? Viper walled him in! We've seen so many people walling each other in now, and now we've got the push coming in on the backline. Viper walling in his enemy as well. I love it. Viper gonna have to react here straight away, dropping down that outpost. So it almost looked a little bit preemptive with that outpost, probably realizing that something might be up. Maybe just sort of thinking, well, hold on, I'm walling him in, so he's going to have to do something to try and attack me. Viper now in a little bit of a difficult position as the knights head into his wood line. He begins to retreat out towards his barracks, and we see units now flooding across the map. He does have veteran spearmen. He has reached the Imperial Age. Do we have an upgrade coming in just yet? We have elite upgrades coming through. Looks like he's got the Imperial Official going out. Is he going out to the upgraded building? That is the question. More raids now coming in. The town center in a bit of a difficult spot as the villagers are quite literally evacuating out. You can see that he's using his Imperial Official to power up that upgrade to get it coming out 3 times faster than what it would normally be coming out, so that he's going to have Imperial Spearmen, or rather Elite Spearmen here, over these veteran ones, and going to have a significant buff. The upgrade almost coming through now, less than 5 seconds to go. Let's have a look at the bonus it gets. 110 HP, 11 attack, up to 130 HP and 11 attack. So very, very nice, or rather 9 attack to 11 attack. So now Viper still sort of fighting the uphill battle at this point. There is a castle that has been dropped down here towards his first expansion town center, and continuing now to get flooded in towards his enemy, or into his base. He continues to pop out these spears. He's actually doing a pretty decent job. Don't see any palace guards coming out just yet. Going to continue reinforcing villagers here amongst the mix. It looks like he did lose quite a few villagers, but I suspect he's going to be okay. He does have the 3 town centers as well as the Song Dynasty, so he's going to be doing his best to hold on. And manages to clean this up. So the elite spears really having an easy time there. And a curious decision coming in from Divine to choose to fight that, thinking, you know what, I think I can take on 6 barracks and spears getting pumped out that are elite, well above me. So curious decision. Viper also securing up this north face here with a castle, so making sure that if there is any pressure from this side, he's going to be fine Spirit way up here towards the north. And now we see our first bombard coming out. Going to begin firing down on this keep preemptively, knowing that it will be a threat. And definitely going to be a difficult spot for his opponent. This is a clock tower bombard. Viper with the fast Imperial, definitely looking very potent. We'll check that clockwork. There's more bombards going to be coming out of it as well. Has he dropped down any further? It doesn't look like we've got any more military production at this point. It just looks to be spears that have come out. And it doesn't even look like he's producing. He's just got a couple of spears in there. He's actually struggling right now for resources. Where are all of his food gatherers, actually? That's a great question. They're actually back here on these farms that are around the initial starting town center. Bombard's still going to be coming in, managing to siege this keep down. Doesn't look like there's a lot of HP or a lot of support in here. I don't think these villagers are going to be able to deal with it. But fighting veteran Royal Knights into elite spearmen, it's a tough fight. You never want to be taking that. +1 upgrades as well coming in for the Viper. He's looking pretty healthy as he pushes underneath this. Now keep in mind there is boiling oil on this keep. You can tell because it doesn't have access to this upgrade. Actually, I say that. Is it being researched down here? It's being researched down here, so boiling oil not yet through just yet. Keep going to go down. And now Viper going to be able to push down towards this southern front that his opponent has set up. So being able to really shut this out. And keep in mind, Viper's done a great job here. So he shut down this front. He said, you're not going to be able to attack through here. And even if you do, you're going to have to deal with my castle. So that's a really nice move from him. We don't see any particular, you know, prevention sitting right on the front line. But he's done a great job of migrating his economy out. Now the clock tower bombards are going to be under a little bit of siege, I'd say. Those knights looking to get in some attacks. But keep in mind, there's not enough knights here to actually be a real threat. And we see that now with the bombards, he's going to be able to move them towards his base, going to be able to heal them up. You see the villagers beginning to run out here. They want to start tapping away with their hammers. You're going to see that beautiful little green plus sign right there above their heads. That's going to be those villagers healing up that bombard, or at least trying to. Look at the HP going up ever so slowly, trying their best to get that up. Viper now repelling those knights down around the west side of his base. They're going to be focusing now once again on this keep. A second keep going to be going up, and Viper having a bit of a tough time here with all these keeps. But I tell you what, when you're in the Imperial Age, these bombards make very short work of these keeps. Viper now going to continue to sit underneath the safety of his town center on top of all those farms, and he's just absolutely menacing the area. You can see that those farms, there's not a lot of rice in them anymore. But now Viper continuing to struggle. And I say continuing to struggle. I wouldn't say that he's continuing to struggle. I think he's having absolutely, you know what? He's having a great time because his enemies just GG'd. There it goes, ladies and gentlemen. That's the game. Viper takes it out and showing that you don't actually need the water to win on water maps. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you once again next time for another episode of Viper Watch.